Listen, I'm about to give it to you real. I'm about to give it to you raw, man. This is for all the rappers, especially. If you're a singer, you can listen in as well, because this will definitely apply to you to some extent as well. But this is, I got a few critical messages for you. And this is not really for older, rappers and stuff, because you might know this, but this is for younger rappers who may have been rapping for like 2 years, 3 years, like whatever the case may be. This is for younger individuals like 25. Yeah, I'll just say the whole 20 spectrum, bro. Whole 20 spectrum. So listen, I'm going to give you some important information. I'm going to make two main points. I'm going to throw a third one in there and I'll make it quick. But the main point as far as the landing spot, where we're going to land, is that this shit is temporary and you need to understand that to some degree. And I'm going to flesh that out so well, no matter if you're successful or whatever, like it's temporary as far as this rap shit. Need you to understand that. Before we get to that, I am going to give you some game. So we're going to build up to that point. But I got two other points that I'm going to flesh out pretty fucking quick. The first one is going to be very quick. Let's get to that. Now, listen, I might have said I was going to do 3 points. I'll just get this one out the way real quick, this first one, because I don't want to lose you. I want to grab you. No diddy. The first point that I'm going to make, the average rapper lifespan is 6 months to 3 years. And that's on multiple levels. If we're talking about a local rapper, when you first hear about him and when he first starts rapping versus when you just stop hearing about him and when he fizzles out, it's going to be within that time frame typically. Even if you look at an industry artist, a lot of industry artists that you hear on the radio or that you'll see a song from, et cetera, like they will be hot first 6 months, first year, first 2 years. After 3 years, you like, bro, what happened to Buddy? And you start looking him up. He ain't had a video in for 19 months type shit, whatever the case may be. But we get that point out. So now here is one of the more serious points and one of the more, informative points that I feel will definitely help you, that I feel you need to know to some extent. That is, the odds of you making it is extremely low. Now, you might not like to hear that. And listen, it's possible you may make it. Everything, the stars may be lining up for you. But this is an analogy that I give everybody. Let's look at the NBA. The NBA has somewhere in the ballpark of 400 to 500 players, right? Somewhere in between that, right? So there are 400 spots, right? You got 10,000 college basketball players every year. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle. So it's not the same 10,000 every year. A lot of them go out every year, and it might be their second year playing or their first year playing, whatever. They get out. And then a whole cycle of freshmen, a whole new batch come in, right? So it's a cycle of 10,000 players. And there are only 400 players in the league. The draft comes, right? The draft comes. During the NBA draft, they only draft 60 players. 60 players. Some of that 400 or 500, some of them get out. Some of that 60, some of them get in. Not all of them actually even end up playing in the league. Not all of them actually get on a roster and stay on a roster. Some of them get shipped to the D League to never play. And this is the thing. When you go to the G League, or when you don't get drafted, when you got to go overseas to play, to build up a resume, to get in the NBA, when you got to do anything other than the draft, your chances of getting in the NBA decrease dramatically. Dramatically. But again, you have to have the best chance, you have to be one of 60 players out of your class of 10,000 people that gets drafted. And to really be secure in that, you have to be one of the best in D1 college basketball. And sometimes that isn't even enough if they think your build and your play style isn't right. There was a guy who played for, I don't know the school, I can't remember, but it was last year. It was either last year, whatever year Caitlin Clark and him came out, which was pretty much, I'm pretty sure it was this year, actually, 2024. They had a guy who went to a school, probably Alabama or some shit, big dude. One of the people that they had all over the screen, bruh, he didn't make it to the NBA. Didn't get drafted. Even though he was one of the best players in the country. They didn't think his style of play would fit. But you have to be absolutely one of the best in D1 to pretty much secure yourself that spot. If you are not one of the best out of 10,000 fucking players, if you are not in that top 25, 30 picks, like if you are not a first rounder, it gets really slim after that, buddy. It gets really slim. Now, why did I mention all that basketball shit? Well, the reason I mention that is because that is something where you can actually track the numbers, right? And when it comes down to high schools and things like that, you can actually even look at, okay, there are this many high schools in the state. There are this many athletes. Like, you could do all the numbers. Guess what you can't do the numbers on? How many fucking rappers are out here? Even if you're a singer, same thing. You can't do numbers on how many people do R&B or hip hop. You don't have numbers on that. And this is the thing. When we talk about, basketball, the pipeline is you're good in high school, then you go to a college. If you're good in college, then you go to the draft. If you make it and get drafted, then you're on a team. So there is a pipeline. There is no pipeline for rappers, bro. There is no thing that you have to do like the Chitlin circuit or something like, and that's going to guarantee, a better chance or something. Like, it's nothing. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. Fucking J. Cole, not J. Cole, but what's his name? Yeah, J. Cole ran up on Jay-Z and tried to rap and give him a demo. That shit didn't work for him. That was not the route that worked for him. But when you look at Kanye was rapping for, Jay-Z, and I'm pretty sure that's how it worked for him. He was rapping for Jay and Dame. That worked for him. So two different people, and it worked a different way. Now, when you go past him, you got Big Sean rap for Kanye. He rapped for Kanye. He was confident enough to rap for Kanye. And he got on. Everybody, but you have so many people, like, you got people who that's all they do. They go around and rap for other rappers and never get fucking signed. I just seen niggas rap for fucking Tony Yayo. I just seen niggas try to rap for 50 Cent. He wasn't trying to hear it. Like, nigga, everybody not going for that. And even then, that's not even the most common way into the industry. There are a lot of people, we don't even know how they got in. Like Forbats, we don't know how he got in necessarily. We don't know. Like, Juice WRLD was discovered off some SoundClick shit or SoundCloud. Now, if you look at something like SoundCloud, I don't got statistics on that. But the barrier to entry is so low, and there is anybody with a microphone could go and put music on SoundCloud. And this is the thing, when you got somebody like Laser Dim, I don't know if there's a number after his name, but Laser Dim, he is a popping rapper right now. But he's been making music off his phone, so he didn't even have to go to a studio or pay anything. And then you got Lil Tyler. Lil Tyler didn't have to pay anything either. He got BandLab and made, the Ruby Rose. He made that shit on BandLab for free through his phone. So when you look at stuff like that, the barrier to entry to rapping is extremely low. And captivating people's attention is going to be the main goal. And you see people becoming influencers and all types of shit so they could do that just to get their music off the ground, because the shit is really hard. It is really hard. Remember I said, you got to be out of the 10,000 to become one of those 60 to get drafted. You have to be one of the best players, XYZ. There is nothing objectively that defines somebody as the best rapper. Now, when we get to hotness and, who is the most listened to, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. But when it comes to being the best, there's no stats or anything like that will objectively say, he is the best. There's nothing like that for a rapper that is independent and not selling anything. They're just streaming. Because there are people like Coi Leray who fucking, they do numbers on the streaming and shit, but nobody's really going to them concerts like that. I don't know if that's the case now, but I know it was the case at one point. People was questioning a lot of shit when she was going out at them festivals performing, and people was like, man, we don't want to hear this shit. So there's no objective way to be the best. But on top of that, with the 10,000, nigga, do you think it's just 10,000 rappers that's trying to get on or just taking up space or getting attention? Is it, bro? You're competing against, I would like to think, honestly, hundreds of thousands of other rappers. And if not hundreds of thousands, I am going to say on the low end, I am highly convinced it would be at least 50,000 rappers that you were competing with at any given time. As far as just getting in the industry, getting your music heard, being on these platforms, Instagram, all this shit. It's so many people who, they may be on somebody else's radar, but they not on your radar. And I could go deeper and deeper on this, but even if you just think about it yourself, if you really just think about it, and you think about how many artists are out there, and you think about, I'll give you one, like Molly Brazy was popping some years ago, right? A Detroit rapper. Where is she now? Like Cuban Doll. Where is she now? Like just a lot of these rappers who was popping at one time, can't even tell you how they got popping, but it's like after a certain amount of time, you remember I said that cycle of 10,000, as far as the college players, somebody out of that cycle of rappers, whatever it may be, 50,000, 200,000, they come in and they take the attention that those rappers once had. They take the spots in people's hearts that those rappers once had. And even then, the whole 60 for the draft, I don't think the 60 rappers are making it to the point where, 60 new rappers a year or even 50 new rappers a year. Like brand new rappers are getting booked for $10,000 or more and constantly getting booked. I mean, Ice Spice got in the game and she was doing shows for like 5,000. Then when her shit started taking off, bro, they took her off that tour and boosted her booking price up to like 15K. Her booking price is out of here right now. Whatever it is right now, it's out of here. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on to the next point, which is another major point, but the most major point of the video.